So, with all the ridiculous nonsense that's been going on with this coronavirus and the shelter in place and the destroying our economy, a lot of people have been asking why. And I've heard a lot of answers to this. And, I went into a real politics Discord real recently, you know what I'm saying, last night. And I punched like 14 people in the mouth with their nonsense, because it's not that difficult to do. And when they shut up and they didn't have nothing to say, I said, Bzz, busy signal, bitch. You know what I mean? Because like, yo, you don't have a response for logic and ration and reason. What you have is a bunch of individuals whining about nonsense. And that's really the truth of the matter. You know what I mean? When it really comes down to it. So let's really look at this and understand why this is going on the way it is. And when I have questions about things, legit, when I stand here and I start going like, what's the reason for all this? I oftentimes look back to my elders and I look back to, individuals who came before me to understand things. When I have those type of questions. And my favorite individual to pull out is Machiavelli because, well, Machiavelli is that dude. You know what I'm saying? He's just built like that. So Machiavelli, he has a couple of quotes on what's going on. He said, "Those who by valorous ways become princes, these like these men acquire a principality with difficulty, but they keep it with ease. The difficulties they have in acquiring it arise in part from the new rules and methods in which they are forced to introduce to establish their government and its security. And it ought to be remembered that there is nothing more difficult to take in hand, more perilous to conduct, or more uncertain of its success than to take the lead in the introduction of a new order of things. Because the innovator has for enemies all those who have done well under the old conditions, and lukewarm defenders of those who may do well under the new." Right? And this coolness arises partly from the fear of the opponents, from who have the laws on their side, and partly from the incredulity of men who do not readily believe in new things until they have had a long experience of them. Thus, right, happens that whenever those are hostile to have the opportunity to attack, they do it like partisans, while others defend lukewarmly, and such that there is a prince is endangered along with them. Everybody always longs for the old, right? And that's why they appeal to the old. They appeal to what was once a different way of doing things when it really comes down to it. So let's also look at this here, right? This is one of my favorite quotes. He said, "I conclude therefore that fortune being changeful and mankind steadfast in their ways, so long as the two are in agreement, men are successful, but unsuccessful when they fall out. For my part, I consider that it is better to be adventurous than cautious, because fortune is a woman, and if you wish to keep her under, it is necessary to beat and ill-use her. It is seen that she allows herself to be mastered by the adventurous rather than by those who go to work more coldly. She is therefore always womanlike, a lover of young men, because they are less cautious, more violent, and with more audacity command her." So here's my mentality. What these individuals are doing with this coronavirus nonsense is they're protecting their base, right? Almost all governments are at the same level at this point. It's something like, I don't know, like 80 to 90% of the world's countries are on a downswing with the amount of individuals being born. And with that, they have rising, aging populations. And so in order for them to keep power, they have to keep these old people alive and extend individuals' lives as long as possible. This is why you have the push for more health care for the elderly. You never see anyone talk about taking away pensions, taking away Medicare, taking away Social Security, taking away, any of these things in this country or any other for elderly individuals. And the reason is because that's actually good for them. All right, so I'm gonna stand here and we're gonna listen to Machiavelli because I legitimately stand here. Like I was looking for a different quote where he said, "Old men always complain. It's when the young men start to complain that you need to worry." Right? You know what I mean? Because old people don't have the fortitude and ability to withstand life anymore. And I think I couldn't find the fucking quote, because, well, they only know about the prints, and that's all you're going to find on the fucking internet. So let's check this out. Median age of a typical cable news viewer is 60 or older. According to Nielsen's live 7-day data in 2017, CNN's median age was 60, while the median age of the Fox News' NBC viewer was 65. Reports of TV News, which added that the good news for CNN and Fox is that they each aged down 1 year from 2016, when CNN was 61 and Fox News was 66. Not so good from MSNBC. The age jumped 2 years ago. It was 63 in 2016. Yeah, man. Old people watch the news. Old people are the individuals who they're pushing these policies towards. And that's something that we need to understand. Okay, so here's the other part of this. All right, so this here is actually voter turnout. You know what I'm saying? It goes the whole way up to the last election, 2018. It's very, very simple, okay? They have, a list of individuals, 18 to 29, 30 to 34, 45 to 59, and 60 plus. You notice that individuals over the age of 50, if you just cut that, whatever, that green line in half, 50 and over, vote between 55 to 70% of them all vote. Whereas us, we're about, 30 to 44, we're right in that general range. About 40% of us vote on average. You know what I'm saying? That just tends to be how it operates. And it goes up and down depending on midterm elections. So in order for these individuals to keep power, because old people are not able to take on the world anymore, so they want the world to stay the same. So the status quo and the individuals who are going to try and maintain that status quo as long as possible are the people they're going to vote for. And that's really where it is. That's what the mental is with this whole video. Is that, they're going to vote for individuals who want to just maintain. So with that being said, let's move on, to another piece of, evidence as far as stuff's concerned. This is the share of funding of individuals 65 plus for campaign contributions for the 2020 election. Right? You notice Andrew Yang, Bernie Sanders, Bill de Blasio, Beto, Tulsi, Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren. By the way, there were some really cool graphs on this page. Legit, if you could find this page, I didn't write it down. Chart, data, source, Federal Election Commission. Anyway, right? Yeah, there was some cool stuff on this page. It said the amount of individuals that donated to Tulsi Gabbard, right, who were black, were zero. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Legit. It was some, insane nonsense. Okay, so as you notice, Elizabeth Warren, 51% of all of her individuals were over the age of 65 who donated to her. And a lot of the other ones are pretty high too. Joe Biden, 40%. Jay Inslee was 46%. Amy Klobuchar, 45%. Sitting here looking, which ones are really big? Beto O'Rourke was 34%. 34.1 Pete Buttigieg. Oh, by the way, Pete Buttigieg was the most supported by only white people. Old white people really loved Pete Buttigieg. I don't know what the deal is with that. Now, this here's everybody from 50 and over, or 50 to 64. You see this? This is big numbers for all this nonsense, right? So, and then let's look at the last one. If you just take the people 50 and up, who's the individuals who coronavirus affects the most? People age 50 and up. Who are the individuals who donate to the campaign so much? So why aren't we just standing here telling old people, is what it is, you've lived your life, it's time to go? Why aren't we treating this like we do every other, cold that comes through? Because this affects old people, and old people are the individuals who give these people power. Consent to the governed. It is what it is. But I wanted to drop this because I thought that y'all might enjoy it, understanding why things happen. I think that's more important a lot of times. I think it fights away a lot of the nonsense when it really comes down to it. But anyway, man, look, I'm Tom Pease of Pnoid News. You know the situation. Like, share, and subscribe. For more content like this, I'll holla at y'all later. Peace.